It's the Friday Feels, and we're back with your first sip of the weekend. You're now tuned in to this week's episode of Your Happy Hour. I'm your host, Nicole Carmine, and it's amazing to have you here, joining me this week as we uncover the truths about being a human and a working professional. What are you up to this Friday? Well, whatever it is, this moment is just for you. Welcome back to another episode of the Your Happy Hour podcast and to the Feel Space. It is February and we are in a new month, new theme. And we're talking about a very important topic that is very difficult for all of us as humans, and that is how to honest it up. And I feel like maybe just like me, your spine is tingling as you listen to this topic. I mean, how do we actually let go of our perspectives and expectations and let the truth happen in this space? So I'm really excited that we have a wonderful human joining us to kickstart this theme. And I've been receiving her newsletters called Soul Goddess. I kept seeing the name pop up and I was like, I can't remember where I clicked on what, but I'm glad because it's been such a wonderful journey just reading your journey. And I just want to say a really, really big welcome to you, Aiswarya. I hope I'm saying this all correctly and nicely. To the Feel Space and to the Your Happy Hour podcast. It is really wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's so great to be here. I love what you do. So when you invited me, I was so excited to come on. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure. I'm really glad to hear that. And I thought maybe as a start, it'd be really great for me, but also the audience listening to get to know your journey a little bit. I mean, I know that you are like a soul legacy activator and you're a multidimensional guide. But what do these things all mean for you? And maybe also within the theme of today.
Yeah, so I change, what I say I am all the time. So I just now I'm sticking with soul mentor for now because ultimately I feel that, we're all a soul in a body, as like many people say. And what soul mentor means for me is instead of guiding based on our ego or going too much into what we think we should do to get certain result, it's about coming back to your soul and looking at it from a perspective of like, we all came here to experience something, to learn something, to teach something. So when we anchor back into that truth, things really unfold in a different way. It might not be what we expected from our lives, but we actually end up learning, teaching, sharing, and experiencing the thing that our soul really came here to do.
I love that, and I resonate a lot with that. And I think people who listen often are like, yes, Nicole talks about this often, because I feel like we are very much, I want to say creative souls, but also creator souls, that have come here to fulfill a certain purpose. And it's funny how we kind of forget and then have to remember what that is. I think that's the journey of being human. So how did you end up were you always like, this is the thing, I've got it? Or how did you end up becoming a soul mentor?
Yeah, I think that I knew that I was going to be doing something like this because I'd see other people doing something similar and it would really create this expansion in my heart, and it would really get me, I wouldn't say excited, but it would make me feel very expanded. And I was like, I'm also a singer as well, and it's another thing that when I used to see people sing, it made me feel expanded as well. And that's how I knew that, that's my truth when I see that. And I really tapped into what my truth feels like. So there's a real difference between seeing something, getting excited about it, getting carried away because we want a similar emotion to what that person is experiencing, And then there's also a truth feeling, which is like, oh, wow, like I know that this is for me. And I get that in my heart space and my throat space and also my sacral. So everyone listening can, start tuning into what truth feels like in their body. So yeah, I guess I was always on a journey of, I think I came into this world. I do feel like I'm a very old soul, probably like yourself and many people listening. So I did come in knowing I felt this real kind of like, I know who I am and I know my character. But of course, through life circumstances, like I was born into a family that expected much different things than I wanted to do. And I continuously found myself in places where, people wouldn't fully get me or misunderstand me. And I had like a very unique childhood. Like we moved around a lot. So I was always the new girl. I was always kind of like the alien. And these kind of experiences made me, it was like very polarizing because on one hand, I felt like I was always trying to fit in. And then on the other hand, I knew that I would never really be able to fit in. So that was kind of like an opening to be like, okay, am I just going to be radically honest about who I am? Or am I going to just try and follow the status quo? And I think this was a real theme of my life in many different ways. And I just kind of ended up feeling like every time I tried to go against myself, something really insane would happen, either in my body or I would feel just the universe was just very much like, you need to follow your path. And that was understood in many different levels. So, and in doing that, like long story short, in following my truth, I actually ended up creating my own community and creating my own movements and getting all the things I ultimately wanted. I'm not going to say that the journey was easy, but it's been very like aligned and nourishing.
That's amazing. I'm so grateful for you also that you like followed your heart, and for the rest of us that can experience like your aligned self in this moment. And I'm curious also, like, I mean, this theme is quite pertinent for that because you have to be really honest with yourself. But also then with other people, like about who you are, and own that. And so how has this theme kind of played out for you? I know you're saying like, you sometimes had situations where people wanted other things, so you have to kind of express, and that's not easy always.
Yeah, definitely. I think the reason why I was kind of kept getting drawn back into maybe not being honest with myself, and I see this pattern in others, is because we're always trying to avoid one of the core wounds. So either like rejection or shame or humiliation or guilt or whatever it is, right? Well, there's something that we're trying to avoid. And it's a familiar feeling that we probably felt in our childhood, or it's an ancestral feeling that has been passed down many times. And I think my thing was probably rejection, like because I felt on many people might have not meant to reject me, but my early life experiences, I think I subconsciously felt like that. So that was the thing that I was initially trying to avoid. But because I'd experienced it, I kind of flipped it on its head and was like, okay, this is literally the worst that it can get. And now looking back, I feel like it was a real blessing in disguise. Because once you overcome that feeling, for other people, they might want to start business and it might be humiliation, or someone might want to do something really radically different and it might be shame. And I think if we actually just let ourselves face that feeling, because we've already faced it, that's why we're avoiding it. So to either go back to that moment where we first felt that and truly allow our bodies to process it and be open to, if we need to experience that again, that's absolutely fine. Like if we can get to that place, then we can actually be really honest about who we are in relationships and in our purpose and with our friendships. And also willing to, depending on what your journey is, I think I always made a pact to myself that I am willing to, really be loyal to my truth at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter who I lose. And that can sound really intense, but it's because I kind of have been through stuff like that. So it's like, okay, I've already gone through it. So now let me just, let me make this promise to myself. And it's very surprising what happens, because people do come in and out of your life and opportunities do come in and out. But again, things just come in. Like when there's something that's been cleared out of your life, a new thing immediately comes in. If we can just detach and think, okay, I've shifted in vibration, or I've, aligned with my truth a bit deeper. So let me see what happens without fear. And then something new will come in, like new people will come in, new friendships, new opportunities, new ideas. And I'm not perfect on this journey. I still have my moments. I'm human. I don't want to pretend that I figured it all out. But I think I'm just getting really good at understanding that the journey is this. Like, people come, people go, things come, things come. I'm not going to get too hung up on my identity, because every time I do that, it doesn't work out well. So I've accepted and I've handed my life over to something kind of like, okay, work through me.
I really resonate so much with that. And recently it's been happening so much more to me too, where I just need to get out of the way. Otherwise, it's kind of like trouble. Like, you just don't things don't sit well with you, things aren't aligning in your life. And the moment you surrender, I found that it's like a kind of a relief, because you don't have to do the hard. It's like you're doing the hard inner work to let go, but it's easier after that, because the universe can channel and it can flow, and it has an open pathway, to really show you and guide you. So that's amazing. I mean, you've really had to like be honest with yourself, I guess, and own that. And I think it's really often quite hard to do that. Like, really say, I have this pact. But I find more and more, the more you do that, the easier it becomes, because gosh, you just know what the moments feel like when you don't do that, and you're like, I will not go back there again. So that's amazing. And do you find that this is what your clients and people that you work with are experiencing?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything that you're saying. And yeah, like my clients, I think some are very drawn to me because they might be very powerful in their lives. They might have a really powerful career, or, have everything in life, but they just feel like they haven't followed their truth, or they're not sure. They just don't feel satisfied, or they just feel like, I've made good choices, but why am I not lit up? And other people come to me because they have this like dream, that they just really want to make happen, and they don't understand what's truly holding them back. And some of the conventional methods just haven't worked for them. And I think what I really help people do is, instead of projecting a truth that I think they should have, I just hold up a clear mirror that they can figure out what it is that truly is their truth. And I think that's something that's very important, because I don't want to feel like I have sovereignty or power over someone. I want them to realize that they have the sovereignty and they have the power. So I'm just a channel and a mirror to help them find that within themselves.
A little bit of the life coaching I did, I felt the same. It felt quite weird if you say you coach someone. It's more like you a facilitator of change within themselves. And we're such divinely powerful beings. I mean, it's just incredible if we can tap into that. So that's so beautiful that you do that. And who's been your mentor along the way? Like, what is the advice that you followed or that you've had?
Yeah, so I've had a lot of, like, I would say, spiritual or maybe like mental. Like, I always used to follow Abraham Hicks. Do you know? Yeah, so I used to listen to her so much, and then I kind of listened to other mentors, like some certain gurus from India, like, my background as well, like Kundalini. I would learn from the Vedas, the spiritual texts. I mean, I'm not religious, but I do follow the spiritual side of Hinduism and Buddhism. And I take things. I mean, another commitment I made to myself is not to follow one person 100%. So I have like a wide range of teachers. And also just, the everyday person that I meet, I feel like you can learn so much from them. I feel like you learn so much from your relationships, especially your romantic ones, so much from the people who truly hurt you because they show you what is really in the way and what you're avoiding. So I think I've also made a commitment to see everybody as a teacher, everybody as a mentor, rather than one person. I think people come into my life. I've definitely worked with people, on healing and business stuff and whatever. But yeah, I just try and see it as like a wider picture. I feel like I have 2 cats. They teach me every day about how, they're such big teachers about how it is to be detached and trust life.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. So I try and see it in everything. And I think that is written in the Vedic scriptures that that like source energy mirrors messages to you through everything.
Yeah, I love that. I think that I've never really thought about cats' detachment, because I've had a cat, but I'm more of a dog person, and dogs can be quite pleasing, actually. And so maybe they're not always the best mirror of how one should live, but they come with unconditional love. And I love that. I think animals, I agree with you, nature, every being is really just what we choose to see and experience from that reality. And I think that's quite an interesting way, once you can tap into that and you're like, everything I have in my life, it's my choice, it's my responsibility, it's here for a reason, and it makes it kind of a lot easier, but sometimes harder too, because you have to really take accountability and be honest with yourself about certain things that you've changed that might not have worked out for you. But what I've found is that it's really made it quite easy to say, like, okay, because I've made decisions that might not have worked out, I can make different decisions next time, and I can be honest with myself. But the being honest part is the tricky one.
Yeah, definitely. And just to mention, dogs are definitely here to teach us unconditional love. I think nature, every aspect of nature is here to teach us something different. But yeah, being honest with yourself can get really difficult. But I think we also have to, there's part of us that, we all have things that we hide from ourselves and the world. We all have, those parts where we are so good at being socially pleasing, putting on a face, stepping into an identity. And then all these other things that we might feel are ugly about ourselves or whatever, I don't know the right word. In reclaiming those parts and being able to be okay with it, sometimes it might be a bit of a stretch to love those parts, but just to be like accept and be okay with having these things, whatever it is. And even that step will really radically change how the world responds to you, because you might meet people who then speak about the same kind of things in their life, or you will attract people that actually accept those things about you and all of these things. So I think honesty is really like self-exploration and really getting to know ourselves, what we like, what we don't like, how we react when we're angry, when we're, what part of us is still really immature, and being okay with that. And just saying, okay, like, I'm going to take all of you along for the ride. I'm not going to leave any of you. Like, I kind of have a consultation in my head, like, okay, you don't, people say parts work, but it's like, okay, you don't want this, but you want this. So can we find a middle ground? And it's almost like I'm a mediator for all these different energies within myself.
Yeah.
So, and then people come along and they accept those energies. They celebrate those energies within me. And I am able to meet them on a very intimate level as well. And I think that's what honesty is really about, when we can truly look at who we are and what we want and be okay with it. Like, most of the times we all want the same things anyway. Like, it's not really that radical.
No, it's quite simple. We tend to complicate it, but it's really not that difficult, So it's there's a human vessel, there's a path. Let's have fun. I think that's the most important part. We always talk about that. with the feels. You know, are we enjoying life? Are we, you know, is the rainbow light? Is it full of color in your life? So, and speaking of celebration, what is it that we can celebrate for you in the next year? What's coming for you? Like, what's your journey next?
Yeah, so I'm also going through a moment of kind of going deeper into my truth. I think that's a continuous process, you know, because it's like layers. So I feel that I've let a lot of ways of how I offer my work go, and also stepping into other ways, like really stepping into more of like my power. I think I was a bit more, the way I used to write my emails and the way I used to like speak was very much inclusive of everyone, because I really wanted to create a community. And now I think it's also about stepping into authority and power a little bit more to really deliver the message, because again, you know, one of my, like, I want people to find the power in themselves. So if I'm a little bit too like, it's okay, you know, I feel that I'm putting a bandage over the wound, and I don't want to do that. I really just want to like, I just really want people to see the lioness within them, you know, the Kali energy, the whatever they need to see. So yeah, really stepping into like that rebranding around that. And more events, you know, like interviewing more great people like yourself. Would love to have you on one of my events, and you know,
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of caught you off guard. I just like asked
No, it's great. I love it. We must I meet you.
Yeah, amazing. And yeah, just more events, and yeah, got a really exciting offer as well. I have something called the Soul Keys reading, which is based on the gene keys. I don't know if you're familiar with the gene keys.
Yeah, a little bit, not too much, but I read mine once and I was like, ooh, this is quite accurate. So
yeah, so it's not a gene key reading, it's based on the gene keys reading, but it's really about, when we're talking about honesty and authenticity, it's about really looking at it's a very deep reading, because we look at 3 sequences. We look at your relationships, how you relate. We look at your genius and your purpose, and also like the prosperity sequence, how you receive wealth. And in those, you see, so there's multiple keys in each of those readings, and you get to know your shadows, how you act when you're in kind of a shadow reactive mode, and the higher vibration of that same energy. So then it's a great reflection to really get to know ourselves. And I think a lot, when people have done the reading, they've really felt like, wow, like this is really accurate. And it's because they're reading it themselves and someone's not necessarily telling them. It's also, you know, they're able to truly reclaim if it resonates or not. And then, yeah, they get an integration session with me as well, where we really like now put that into steps and action to move forward in your life. And yeah, I've got like a 10% gift code for your audience as well, which you can distribute as you wish.
Thank you for that. That's really kind. And that sounds amazing. I mean, that kind of sounds like the yin yang playing, you know, going into the darkness to find the ultimate light. And that sounds awesome. So thank you so much. Excited to share this with the community, and also going to take this opportunity to say thank you to our other partners, rss.com, who is our distribution platform that we get to distribute these wonderful conversations into the world. Thank you for making it possible for us. And they've also gifted our audience a wonderful discount. You can DM us for that. And a company called bomb.co, or Blender Bombs, and they have these nutritious snacks that make it really easy to eat on the go. It's always good for me when I'm running around. And they also gave our audience a wonderful 20% discount when you use the code TheFeels. But you can DM us and let us know all your feels on the socials. And I wonder what everyone's kind of feeling about this theme, about this topic. Are you being honest with yourself? Are you struggling? Are you battling? Don't feel alone. We're all doing the same. And it's really great to know that on the other side of that, there is that light and relief. And on that, I wanted to invite you. We do another little segment called The Gems. That is like our moment of gratitude of the week, or maybe it's a learning or something like that. So I'll start, and mine was, gosh, you were talking about taking authority, being in your power, I feel like it's in the air. I'm normally like, oh, it's okay, and whatever else. And I don't know what's going on this week, but it's just like the fire and the lioness is out there. And I appreciate her. And I've been really tapping into that and going, okay, enough of making everyone else feel okay. I also have to honor my own energy. And so that's been a huge gem for me, and not always easy to execute an expression, but very, very important. So yeah. And what about for you?
Yeah, I love that. It's also the full moon in Aries as well. So it's like the fire energy. So,
Explains a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, a gem for me is very much like not. So when something triggers me, or especially, family is the thing that triggers me the most, both my biggest teachers, just to like not have a reaction is really, and like genuinely when you do the work, like you just kind of think, okay, or like have minimize my reaction to 60 seconds and then just see what happens. And actually I've been fine. Like I just move on. And that's been a real gem, because I think that's been like a lifelong gem for me.
I love that. I really like the 60 seconds challenge. It's kind of like it makes it like bite-sized and possible. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I wanted to do a little spotlight. We do a thing called the people, places, and spaces. We choose like a person or a place or organization or something that we feel have the feels. And on this topic of kind of just, stepping into our power and alignment, I've discovered this lady on YouTube called Katie Clark. She is Irish, I think, if I got the accent right. It's a wonderful accent to listen to. And she is just so dynamic. She speaks right to the point about all this stuff. And I've really enjoyed discovering her videos. So I want to give a shout out to her. I really love your feels. Thank you for the guided meditation that I needed at 3 o'clock this morning. And on the last very note, I wanted to ask you one more question. And that is a reading list that we have called The Stack. So these are books that might be on your pile that you have read and would like to recommend, or maybe they're still waiting for you there and you'd like to recommend them to the audience. So I want to ask you, what is in your stack?
Yeah, so should I just say one book?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I've read this book, and I think it was like a while ago. I read it about 10 years ago, maybe, but it's such a powerful book. It's 3 Waves of Volunteers by Dolores Cannon. Have you heard of it?
I haven't. We're going to be adding that. Yes. What is it about?
Yeah. So she interviews people through past life regression and, learns about the life beyond. And she realized that there was 3 waves of volunteers that came down to earth. Like it all correlated with what everybody was saying to, help the earth ascend. So the book in itself, so she has passed away, but her daughter still continues, the company. But in the book is like made up of these interviews and also what they say, and it all ties into, the 3 waves of volunteers and and you might identify yourself as one of the waves. And it really like clicks something into place, because if you do identify with that, or it just opens up your mind to be thinking of, why have I come here as a soul? You kind of, unapologetically just step into, okay, this is why I'm here. And another thing I love about it is because it's a wave of volunteers, like we're all in it together as well. So we all, can realize that we have our tribe. Maybe we found them, or they're somewhere, or, so it's a great read, and it gets you thinking outside the box.
I love that. I'm definitely keen to read that book. So thank you so much for recommending. I feel like I need it. And I've also been, stepping more into that, answering the question, why here, accepting the reason, and taking on that responsibility in a way, in a joyful way. So I'd love, and being collective. I mean, this is what we're all about. It's a community, and we're all here together. And as one of us changes, it changes the frequency for everyone. So thank you for that. And we will be adding it to the stack on the website. So if whoever wants to go and check it out and click on it, buy it, read it, happy reading to everyone out there. And then just a very last thank you to you for sharing so openly, for coming on here and sharing your journey and your heart. It's been wonderful to hear your story.
Thank you so much, Nicole. This has been so fun. I really feel like you have a gift to bring out, really good. I do a lot of interviews, but I found this very fun, and I feel like I've really been able to transmit the message I've wanted to, thanks to you. So thank you.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. If you haven't just yet, follow Friday Feels on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. You can share with us all your feels this week by tagging us at fridayfeels.co. And you can also find the website at that handle. And now, as you ease into this weekend, take a moment. Celebrate who you've become, what you've overcome, and what is yet to come as you do the crazy and cool things that you do as the authentic you. The truth about life and work is that it's hard, but the beauty is this global working experience that you're in, well, we earn it together. So keep connecting, empowering, and inspiring this week. And of course, keep it raw and real. Until next time.